కరెంట్లీ నేనైతే ఇప్పుడు ఈ బుక్ చదువుతున్నాను. ఐ కేమ్ అపాన్ ఎ లైట్ హౌస్, శాంతను నాయుడు. ఇప్పుడు మాత్రం 13th చాప్టర్లో. My first week at work, Parisad instructed me to escort Mr. Tata downstairs whenever he could leave to go home or for. When I left office to walk him to the car and open the door for him, catch up on my any pending items on the way down and take down parting instructions if any. And the primary purpose of the elevator ride down, though, was clearly bantered, specifically taunts about aspects of my appearance such as hair or clothing, including but not limited to stop copying my shirts. Nice bag for a school kid. You're coming in the next meeting only if you cut your hair. The shadowing grew quickly as he asked to accompany him to more and more places so that we could discuss our work in the car. Many events I would only escort him and then wait outside or go back to office to work based on what we had discussed. The boss assistant relationship was evolving and cementing very quickly, but it felt like it was happening at the cost of our personal friendship. I could no longer see the friend in him speak to me. My fear of one replacing the other were turning out to be ominously true. Things continued this way. I didn't see him much anymore outside of the office. Communications were professional, work related. The vulnerability has disappeared regardless. I self-aware my duty lays the lane of first. The office I tried to be to be able to learn from such a colorful and diverse set of personality and the whole bank of experience that is Mr. Tata. I was asked to be part of more and more meetings. Some of them would be at the Taj, some at the office, and some at the World Trade Center. So shadowing him was something stressful. You had to be aware of the mob that might recognize him and have papers and information ready on demand. Sometimes a few people would ask for pictures and sometimes too many, but they never showed anyone away. So should anyone away? Should. What does should? No better. His arrival anywhere. No bulky bodyguards or security details. No intro. I had raised this concern once, but he said, who would want to hurt me? There were always just one or two people to receive him and escort him to the meeting wherever he went. Eventually, through sheer repetition of the skinny me trailing behind him. It was given that I would accompany Mr. Tata where he went. When he went through security, he would carry nothing, but I always had office bag. It take longer, and even though I panic, trip, drop things, worrying I will be left behind, he never goes ahead without me. He always waits, turns around to see, pick my bag, things I dropped, papers that fell, and let me run up to him. When he does to get mobbed for pictures, I have never interfered or said no on behalf, pushed someone. Okay, where he does get mobbed for picture, I never interfered or said no on his behalf or pushed someone back always and should always rest with him. Fond of anyone else responding on his behalf, let alone be rude. Stranger. Now, the categories and patterns of meetings I was invited to slowly became clear. They were largely investment related, but the other ones involved innovative breakthrough, especially in healthcare or possible social impact collaboration. See between the trust and universities or tech companies with exciting ventures or even update meetings on his electric vehicle venture. Did not make any presents felt I didn't think it was time yet. I assumed the responsibility of assimilating information and refining it for him in the form of summarized conclusions, which he could glance over, debate, agree with, or act on with me later. He encouraged discussions, he encouraged contrasting perspectives, and devil's advocacy was not at all an issue. To have a healthy motive for arriving at analytically valid conclusion. If you motive is rooted in prejudice or bias, then the discussion would be pointless, frustrating, and unwelcoming. designing them to powder to providing calendar updates and churning out investment evaluations or updating him on development related to the trust. I loved every bit of it because it was constantly fluid, no rest stops. And there was a time when he was not particularly in a good mood for quite few days. They told me he was looking for an archive letter from 1996 and we couldn't find it. Even in my completely unrelated discussion with him, he used to bring it up with great agitation. When Mr. Taras dug up, he wanted within a short span of time, and to be honest, there is no reason why he shouldn't get it in the time. But that meant the office was under fire. How can I help? Well, if you find this letter, I would put you on a pedestal. What a fact! Juicy incentive. I had to find it. Years ago, after he retired, the group as group chairman, all the hard copy letters and memos were converted into a digital archive where it works somewhere, not scanned due to human error or the sheer physical state of the letter. I plucked through the digital archives. It was a memo written by him and to Rusimoti, farmer, leading member of Tata Groups in 1996. Okay, its entire context, but it was important to him that did not ask some memo regarding the controversy surrounding the creation of Fox execution position within the group. After stir screen time, I went to Faizat and finally declared it missing. She told me that we still had the hard copies lying in the warehouse somewhere. I asked Mr. Raghava an approximate timeline of when he had returned the memo. He gave me a rather accurate one. I ended in 1996 in November, just 2 days before I left for my Christmas holidays. I can't even remember what I did on my last birthday. There is no archive more accurate than his memory. And it comes with additional details, the kind which one wouldn't even care to remember. I called for the files from the warehouse and came to the office the next day to find the conference room flooded with musty files full of yellow pages. The files had completely invaded the office. As I started going through them one yellow page at a time, I came across so much history, some tribal, some important, some were letters for him wishing everyone happy holidays, some were memos acting exciting new changes. It was bittersweet, bitter because I wish I had been a part of that era. What a time it would have been to serve him then, when everything must have been 100 times more alive during his time as a chairman of Tata Sons. Sweet, because I still get to serve him a role people would wait their entire life for. At the end of the workday, I was down to the last two files with no luck, where I did flag the memo sent to Rusi. I was losing sight of the pedestal. In the last file from 96, I went through the papers pertaining to the time period he had given me. The letter wasn't there. Out of curiosity to exhaust all options once After all, I turned to the letters from just before that month. Dear Lucy, I speed read through it, getting up from my chair dramatically as I did. That was it. That was the letter. I showed up it to the Paisa, then she confirmed it. Someone has misfiled it. I called Mr. Tata and told him that I had some papers to hand over and that I would drop by his place. He asked me if there was an update on the letter. No, I hid through my teeth. It was a calm evening. We sat in the hall with the blinds open to the sea, but he was shrouded in grey clouds still. Constant travel and not finding the memo had put him in a rather sore mood. I went through the daily updates with him that were pending, and finally, after everything was done, I handed over him a letter gift for you. For a solid half an hour, he stared at it, trying to figure out the content, and it was a satisfying moment to see his eyes go wide as he realized what it was. You found it? Yes, I did. I waited patiently for him to finish reading. I could give you a hug. This makes me feel much less depressed. So, okay. I'll take that offer, but that is my. Where is my pedestal? You are so small. We could get a small one and put it in the garden out there. Okay, if you want big crowd of girls there or a bunch of cows. The cloud was suddenly lifted off him. We talked for a long, talked and laughed, reminisced about older times in Mumbai and New York. He explained why the letter was important. All these letters are proof of significance even throughout my time as chairman. Only I live to tell these stories after me. Without proof, nobody would believe any of it. And sometimes I like to revisit to see if there are any lessons I learned that I can apply today. But I did not require any unique skill which I was possessed a certain level of persistence. Sure, but